Things continue to set up for a crypto explosion. Bitcoin and ETH are likely to lead the way, with then massive money flowing into altcoins that have substance behind them. Now, we've seen this past week OMI's price explode. And you're wondering, is this the breakout we're looking for? Or is this just another run up leading to a massive pullback? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today, as well as up-to-date VV news on what's going on. So if you haven't already, make it rain on that like button. Strap in for the show. Doctor of Stuff and the real Randy Chavez joining us. The real Randy Chavez will not have video today, so all you ladies will not get to see his pretty face. That's all right. You can, always after the show, watch one of his previous ones and get your fill of his gorgeous face there. What's up, guys?
How's it going, Rain? And Faces Randy?
Everyone bullied me yesterday. They're like, Randy, you didn't go live at your normal time. OMI is up 50%. You better go live or I'm gonna choke somebody. I was like, okay, fine. So I went live at like 12:30 in the morning, and then it went from 50% to like 120% up. I feel like Mark Quinn didn't sleep. There's a lot of celebrating last night, and obviously we had that. Woke up and still at that 0003 mark, so it's still like 60% above where it was. Like, it's not that crazy high. We went to like 0005, but to be up this much, where a lot of the TA people were saying to get above 0023 and it's good, and now we're above 0003 and sustaining it for 24 hours, I think is really bullish.
Yeah. So tomorrow we will be going deeper with Paul, who has 30 years price analysis. I look forward to hearing what he says. For today, we'll take a look at the charts. What is the latest now, Randy? You're down in Florida for a charity event, and VV Magic is there. And who else from the VV fam?
Yeah, they're in the other room right now. I didn't want to take over the main living room, so I'm outside next to the golf course. Hopefully no stray balls come my way. But yeah, I'm sorry. What was the question?
Thud, then we'll know. Two thuds: the one that hits your head, and then the one where your body hits the ground.
Let's talk about the latest in VV news before we get to OMI stuff. What's been on your mind, gentlemen?
Oh, Doctor. Wait, was that me or Doc? I can know.
Doc first.
Well, with VV, right? I mean, it ties into OMI, and I was actually just on Comics and Crypto show. And sorry for the scruffy voice, guys. I feel terrible. Like, it's funny that this is the day that I'm doing two shows, and I just feel awful. But VV made that announcement of OMI to Gems, right? And kind of laid out these new terms of service and what's going to be happening. And we'll get into that some more, right? And I've already kind of shared my thoughts there, but definitely want to. So I want you guys to talk more about it and your thoughts. And I'll kind of jump in at the end there. But the drop wise, there hasn't been anything. Well, you got the Coca-Cola drop, and I thought it was really cool that they did a 1 of 1 in the drop, right? That was really, really cool to see that, and that Coca-Cola signed off on that. I think the person who got it, they only bought 4 times. And they got it on their 4th one and got that 1 of 1. And I think they have it listed now for about $33,000. But they've listed it in OMI, which I think is awesome as well. So I'd like to see more of that. Some of these chasers I think are important, right? And to do 1 of 1s, especially with a big brand like Coca-Cola, man. That's a big hit for someone, and especially if when digital collectibles become mainstream, some of these things like we talked about on Comics and Crypto, that the Logoman card. Do you see that sale that happened?
That $13 million.
Right. So it's the highest selling card of all time, of any card, and it's the logos of Jordan and Kobe Bryant with their signatures on it. It's called a logo mint card, and it's the only one in existence. And the original guy bought it like from someone for like 25 grand, held on to it for a couple of years, sold it for like $175,000. And then the guy who bought it for $175,000, they held on to it for like 12 years, and now just sold it for about $13 million, right? Like, but look, like over that time, it took 15 years. It took 15 years, right, from the time he paid 25,000 for it to get to 13 million. And that's the thing is, I think sometimes we look at this, and because we're in the thick of it, like we can't see the forest from the trees. But if VV survives, and that's an if, like there's no guarantees in life, right? VV's doing a lot of the right things, and I think this OMI gem actually really shores up their cash flow, which is very important for them as a business. But if they make it, when digital collectibles become a thing, like it's going to be, like, in my opinion, it's going to be insane. I think it's going to be really insane, some of these things. And Sean from Comics and Crypto was kind of talking about like the Golden Moment set and how many FAs are in that set, right? Like you've got Iron Man and Star Wars and Walt and Mickey. Like, I mean, there's just so many iconic characters that are there in that Golden Moment set. And how many people are going to be able to actually own the whole set, right? Like, I think that it's going to become very difficult in the future there. So, but anyways, these one-on-one chasers, I think, is a real fun thing that they're starting to do, and looking forward to seeing what more they have in store. And again, if Vivi's watching this one, if they didn't watch the Comics and Crypto, we were saying how great it would be to drop like a pretty big announcement or something here soon to keep up this momentum going, right? Because there's a lot of people right now that are searching. I mean, OMI is trending, and people are searching out Vivi and stuff like that. This would be a great time to get some additional users as they get interested with all this attention on it.
I love your thoughts about the one-of-ones and so Vivi's been doing this for quite a while with their artist proofs, and I think the issue that, and I don't want to say it's an issue because they go for thousands, sometimes tens of thousands, and that's something that David can put, notch in his belts, arrow in his quiver, whatever you want to call it, and say like, hey, this type of stuff happens on my website every week. It happens all the time, and it does, and I think he can use that, and I think that's what helped him be able to get Coca-Cola to sign off on it, saying like, hey, here's a one-of-one. If you do this, you should get minimum like this. Now, unfortunately, the guy that has it doesn't want to sell. That might be a good thing because they was like, see, like he's and however much this actually would sell for, based on the audience that we have, considering the amount of people like have deep pockets, what I think it probably should sell for would be thousands, maybe 5, 7, 8, heck, maybe even 10 grand. But at the end of the day, for something that's one-of-one, I've noticed in a lot of collecting is the majority of people will be like, you know what, it's probably worth this. I would only pay this for it. But when you get to that upper echelon of people where you don't need, 10,000 people for something to sell out, you just need a couple of whales to have a bidding or, dick measuring contest and be like, no, I want this. This is how much I spent on it. There's a thing, I don't want to get too racial here. There's a certain group of people that'll be like, hey, look how much I saved on this. Guess how much I paid for it. And they brag how much they saved. And there's another group of people that'll say, hey, guess how much I spent on it. And it's a huge flex of just what you spend on it. And so I've seen this in Pokemon before. And again, like what happens in Pokemon tends to happen in VB later down the line, is that you have these one-of-ones that go. And the reason why I think why this didn't sell out. We still made like 50 grand on it, which is great. I'll take that any day of the week. But I think it would be better, or it would have been more hyped up if they had gone to anyone that's covered Coca-Cola in the past 3 months, whether it's on TikTok, whether it's on writing in articles for anyone, and say like, hey, Coke is doing a one-of-one. And I don't know if they've ever done any type of one-of-one in the past, but they had that video with Corey that they did saying like, hey, how did you guys do this? That was a really cool, like very short video of the history and the why behind it. It's like how it works, but for how they did it for the one-of-one. And if they would have just gotten a couple of people to advertise that, like they did with Vanity Fair and Cookie Monster, like they did with a couple of other things and their other stuff, that would have been, I think that could have been such a draw. And I don't think it would have cost them anything. There's like, hey, here's what they're doing. And the people that are obsessed with these products would have gone on and made videos themselves. So I understand why certain comic book artists, maybe they can't, they don't do that. But for Coca-Cola, I feel like that's probably what they should have. And that's what I would like to see moving forward, is like what they did was great. But if they could add to it, that's what I would add. And that's all I got to say about that. Forrest Gump reference.
You're on mute, Rain.
That's some great feedback, Randy. That would add some momentum in. While we're talking, OMI just went to 0.042 right now on my chart I'm looking at. So somebody put in some big orders. Yeah. Now,
5 now.
What?
We're not ready to talk about OMI price yet, so stay calm, OMI. Like, stop going up.
I just told Magic and Tammy and everyone, I just opened the door, like, guys, guess what? We're at 4-5. I love this game.
So Vivi did a good job with the Coca-Cola drops. I'm liking the increase, like the chasers, right? The 1-of-1s, the 1-of-10s, just like baseball cards. They have like all these different, like very rare ones. It adds to the fun, and I like that. That's a smart move. Hopefully we see more of that in the future, because what drives people to buy huge boxes of cards, and you see with huge boxes of cards, is those chasers. And they haven't really got into that. But if they do, that's going to help all the drops sell out. And if the drops sell out, that might mean that a lot more stuff goes for higher afterwards. So I'd like to see some momentum there in the VV stuff. Now, who knows what's going on with OMI? I don't know what's driving this, other than fundamentally there was a huge shift, like a week and a half ago with OMI, and OMI's price did nothing immediately. And this just might be the after effect of, like, people realize, like, at some point OMI's going to run, and they're trying to get ahead of the curve. But because there's so little volume, a little bit of buying can drive up the price quickly.
When you see low volume, I mean, trading volume is at 36 million.
There was so low volume. And
it's at 52 million.
And like, once you drive it up, there are bots that sit there, and they see something moving, they will start trading it, augments the volume. So is all of that somebody going in and trying to buy it? No, some of that is trading bots making some money with the price swing that they see happening.
So on CoinGecko, it's got 30 something, but on CoinMarketCap, it's got 52 million. And I do have a theory about this. So there's a bunch of people. I think even Doc had mentioned that he was showing a friend, like, he was able to buy it on Coinbase and his friend was. And that's probably makes up for some of the volume where some people are showing their friends, guys, you can now buy it on Coinbase, and some people can, some people can't. But most of the volume is really coming from OKX. That accounts for almost 50%, about 48.8. But what I really think is, and I don't know if you have like a minute for me to read Foster's response to Jesse.base.eth yesterday. Is that cool?
Sure. Yeah, it's a great response.
So Jesse is like, he's got 250,000 followers on X. He's one of the biggest builders on Base. And Foster starts off by talking about, like, hey, Jesse, you shouldn't waste your time with people like these, saying, Jesse, I followed your journey for a couple of years now, and it's evident to me that you're a genuinely good person who tries to see the best in people. I don't envy the balance you must have to find with the dozens of people and projects that reach out to you on a daily basis, but seeing what little time you do have be used on people who have no interest in growing the space and are trying to extract and detract from the objective of bringing the world on-chain is disappointing. Base wasn't always the place to build, but our project and community of real collectors saw the vision in early 2024 and became only the 16th to onboard into the ecosystem. Our commitment and dedication to bringing the world on-chain through 200 plus brands of IP with billions of fans around the world has never wavered. And while I may be biased in saying it, it is exactly the demographic you should be looking to target when attempting to bring the next billion users on-chain. What industry or project has more potential customers than Disney, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Lamborghini, Blackpink, USPS, Coca-Cola, and hundreds of additional fandoms combined? I would love to chat sometime to explore the synergies that exist between our project and the Base ecosystem, how we can continue to support the mission you have bringing the space forward and making it somewhere everyone wants to be. Keep up the good fight, and looking forward to connecting. If I were to read that, and I would have been like, there's no way I wouldn't reach out after that. And I have this feeling that some of that volume, because he did it at 12:42 yesterday PM Eastern Standard Time, and the volume didn't start to uptick until the late afternoon. So I have this theory that Jesse and some of the other guys say, you know what, guys, let's keep it in between us 12, us 20 people. Let's get some of this. Let's look into it. And then, of course, it leaks. And then, of course, suddenly you have hundreds. And I'm not saying that 12 people can't put in, 30 million in volume, but I think that it's a lot easier to believe that each one of those 12 people or 20 people told one or two others. Some of them had some deep pockets. And it's just a lot easier to believe that volume of 50 million, kind of came from theirs. So if anyone has a better idea of where some of that volume money came from, by all means, let me know. I'd be very curious to hear.
It could have started. There's a snowball effect that when something starts running away, it triggers other people that have been on the fence to buy. And so this is why whales can make so much money manipulating, right? So they take out shorts, they then sell a whole bunch, which starts a cascade that drives the price further downwards. And then they buy back and they close out their shorts. They make a ton of money because buying green candles create bigger green candles. And some of it is bots picking up the price action and playing into the price action. Some of it is other people that have been on the fence. And so, we saw a 2-step forward, 1-step back move. The question is it going to continue up forward? Like, has this actually reached new people where money is going to come in is the bigger question. If all of a sudden this guy and a lot of his crypto, base fanatics that are really, really big on base tokens that are on base catch a hold of what OMI is and they start buying it, then we're talking about new people buying and holding OMI. And it might then cascade this. Like, why did OMI run so high last bull market? Well, there was a cascade of people coming into it. I think their story is even better this cycle by far. Like, Foster did a good job laying things out and who is behind it. And when you hear that, it's like, how have I not known about this token? How have I not focused on this token? Are you kidding me? It then highlights how undervalued this is if you look at the market cap and pay attention. But in a bear market, like, nobody's paying attention to the altcoins and their fundamentals. But then as things start moving, people have a lot more FOMO, and they will jump on trains that start to leave the station, and that may be what we're seeing. I'm going to step away for a sec, gentlemen. I'll be back in a minute.
Dokily, we will hold it down.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely hold it down.
This is I don't know if you've seen. Have you been on Twitter a lot today, Doc?
No.
So there was somebody that David he was on some type of podcast. It was, I forget what it was. And Kaki Gaijin said, did anyone else notice Goku on the latest interview? And it's right in front of his Amazing Fantasy 15 cover there. And David said, yes, I noticed. As in just like giving us a wink, like, hey, I noticed he's there. And we've had a bunch of stuff that's happened. So I think it's a tease that we might have Dragon Ball Z, or at the very least, he's working on it. That is like Asian Superman. He is. I feel like that might have. Is there anything else, any other additional tines or supporters that you see that might have contributed to this OMI pump on the VV side?
I have no idea, man. I've been thinking, because I think it's important. A lot of the volume is coming from OKX, and I mean, one of my thoughts is that that OMI to Gem announcement. I know that there are some people who are frustrated because it's going to be like a little bit more difficult for the non-Web3 natives to be able to cash out. But I believe that they're going to create some mechanics to make it a lot easier for people to do. But it's going to take a little bit of time, like that will happen. But I think eventually, as people come on, I don't know, change is always hard for people. Let me just start there. Change is always hard, regardless of what it is. People are just like, change, because we don't like change, right? Like, we like consistency, we like being comfortable. And so change is hard. But the funny thing is once that change is made and then people get used to it, that becomes like the new norm. And then so new people coming in and they're like, oh, what's this Web3 or why do I got to use Coinbase? Oh, it's easy. Here's how you do it, because they figured it out. And like all of a sudden it's not like this big complex process, but it is initially, right? But I think, Randy, I really do think, man, that this OMI to gem, and not the actual OMI to gem thing, but basically making it so that after November 18th, the start of November 19th, OMI will be the only way to purchase collectibles on the secondary market. I think that's a big freaking
Can
deal.
you elaborate on why you think it'll be the only? Because like you can still buy stuff with gems, or do you think that's the only way people will be incentivized to because of the fact that less cash out or less?
Okay, no, you're correct. There will be some people who will list in gems. The large majority of people will probably be like, I want to cash out, or I want the option to cash out. And so I'm going to have to sell for OMI to do that. So there might be some people who sell for gems because they just want the gems in the ecosystem, So like it'll be interesting to see what happens, right? Because if you think about it, I think that for the most part, people will get gems. They want gems because you need those for primary drops, right? So you'll still need gems, and so there will be people who will sell for gems. But the large majority, I think, will be selling in OMI. Like I will be converting the large majority of my sales or anything I'm listing in OMI. I'm going to do that. And it was a really interesting conversation that I had. I want to get your thoughts on this. So when I was talking with Comics and Crypto, both Sean and Spencer, and a lot of people have been like, hey, like we need some sort of mechanism to just say, like, I want to list this for $20 because they're concerned with the volatility of OMI, right? That like if they're listing for 100,000 OMI, which should be $20, and then OMI drops, 20%, all of a sudden they're only getting $16, or even if it shoots up, then they're like, well, maybe people won't buy it. And so Spencer was of the mind that he's like, they absolutely need some sort of mechanism to where you can say, I want this price in dollars, and then it shifts the amount of OMI that it gets listed for as that happens. I think that is he didn't seem to think that was like a hard thing to do. I think that's a pretty dang hard thing to do because you got to think about how many tens of thousands of listings are going to be on the marketplace at a time, right? And it's going out and like every time like OMI does any sort of price change, it's going to change that. I think that's that's going to be really, really hard to do, man. Like Spencer didn't think so. I think it will be. Now, yeah, so I don't know how they're going to do that, but on the flip side, the thing is no other marketplace does that, right? You go to OpenSea, you go to Magic Eden, you go to any of these other marketplaces, and it's just listed in ETH or in you can list in USDC, and maybe that's one of the options that they do, but like it has to go. You can list in USDC, but like it's this much of OMI worth of USDC or something. Like maybe they can do something like that. But anyways, like when that happens, though, you miss out on the double compounding that we talked about last episode, right? Crypto Cosmo brought that up, where it's just like, okay, like I'm listing this for 4 ETH and ETH is at 3,000, but then ETH goes to 4,500 and it's still 4 ETH. And so, the floor rises because of that. And then sometimes people are just like, well, no, like I still want it like I want this much more. So then they change it from 3 ETH to 4 ETH. Like you get that double. Let's see. Sorry, I just saw this comment from Pink Panther.
Hi guys, we have a special guest that wants to say hi. Can you recognize the voice?
Hello.
Oh my gosh. Yes, it's David Yu. I can tell right away.
David, your voice is a lot more feminine nowadays.
Yeah,
that's weird.
wow.
I can speak German too. Did you know that?
A little bit of magic in
David,
that
where
voice.
did you learn German?
AI. Just wanted to say hi, guys.
Hey,
What's
good
up,
to see
Magic? How you doing?
Oh,
Good. Yeah, we're having fun out here. I just got here today. Very tired, but all good.
Awesome. I'm jealous. It sounds so much fun. Yeah. Because Max and Janie are out there too, right?
They are, yes. We all just got in this afternoon and went and had some dinner and resting up for a big day tomorrow at the parks. So, yeah.
Gonna be a good time. I might have to dip early because I'm getting bit out by my ankles.
Uh-oh.
Straight up, not having a good time. So I'll be here for a little while longer.
Oh, mosquitoes are attacking you or something?
Something. I don't know what, but
Well, I'm going back inside.
All
Bye,
right,
guys.
See you, Magic.
That was everyone's inside, and I'm like, I don't want to make them go into like a room or anything. So I'm out here on the balcony, and it's nice, but the bugs are attacking my brown meat. That sounded wrong. I'm a couple of drinks in.
Yeah, we've got some good comments. May catch up on some comments. Pump and dump, pathetic. I'm still holding. One day pump will continue and break all-time highs. One day the pump will absolutely continue running. So I remember playing these little moves like this last bear market with one particular holding, and it was a lot of fun. I was buying one token at it would go down to 7 cents, and then it would run away to like 14 cents, and I'd sell at 14 cents. Or I'd sell half at 14 cents, then it'd come back at 7 cents, and I'd buy again. Then one time it went to 14 cents, and I sold half. It went to 21 cents, and I sold the rest of it thinking, yes, I can't wait for it to go back to 7 cents. I'm going to end up with so much of it. Yeah, it went to $21. I was like, well, shoot. Oh, well. Missed that huge upside. And at some point, OMI's going to have that kind of move that's just going to run away from you. And is it here now? I don't know. We will see. We'll look at the chart in a bit. Just catching up on some comments. MV, I love OMI pump and dump. Maybe pump and dump. We'll see. It may just be pump, set back, some more pump. Tammy, good to see you. Doctor stuff, back at it again. Yeah.
Let's go.
Shout out to Turtle Golf for setting this up. He's typically the sponsor of Whale Week, and Turtle Golf is helping, giving a couple of hotels out, to me, Magic, Kuma and his family. Kuma has like 7 kids. Bro is repopulating the planet one kid at a time.
Well done. Well done.
Thank goodness. He's doing his part of keeping the repopulation going.
Heck yeah. They're cool. They're cool. We talk about anime every night. Yeah, his kids are dope. His kids are awesome.
Nice.
Makes me think that having a couple might not be so bad. I don't know if I can do 7, but a couple might not be so bad. If someone talk anime with.
Why did you have kids? Well, I needed somebody to talk anime with on a regular basis.
I feel like if someone asked LeBron that, be like, why'd you have kids? Be like, my teammates sucked and I needed to create a better one. So 18 years later.
He totally purposely reproduces with a 7-foot tall girl, So I'm trying to create a better team. You get a double dose of doc today.
So there's I forget who was talking yesterday, and I don't think it was even on a stream. I think it was on. There's so many people posting about OMI, and you have the normal people they would call us moon boys, which is fine, that are just saying I knew it and we did, and then you have the complete butters that no matter what they're just gonna be like it's gonna pump it up, it's not, and then they'll either go away or they'll go away and come back with a new account suddenly. But then you have the people, a lot of the middle, that was just listen, I don't know if this is ever going to come back. And then it does. And they have no problem admitting, saying you know what? It looks like I might be wrong. It's sustaining this pump. It's doing this. And I don't know where. I'm happy for the people in the middle that will, of course, obviously get back in again. I'm curious, where do you think the biggest numbers for OMI will come from? Will it be from the middle that can admit they were wrong? Or will it be from the people that are so anti-FUD, or they're so big FUDders and they'll just do it silently on another account, never admitting they were wrong? They'll just come back as a new person.
It doesn't matter if those FUDders ever come back. They're inconsequential to the snowball that's going to come. Why? Because they have the licenses that are a big deal. So the majority of people who are going to make OMI go crazy haven't even bought yet. They don't even know about OMI yet. So it's do we have to get the crypto space back in OMI? No, we'll get a slew of people that have never really paid attention to it, that are in the crypto space, rolling their money into it, and a whole onslaught of people that come in, and one of their first purchases in the whole crypto space is OMI. OMI has the kind of traction that can happen. That happened last time. People were like, oh my gosh, Batman on the blockchain, I'm buying OMI. Like, they didn't even know what crypto was and they were buying OMI. It's got even better star power this time with Disney, Marvel, DC, other major brands. And people are like, oh, I don't understand it. I'm going to buy some Doge and I'm going to buy this OMI thing. And sometimes people like that are throwing in hundreds of thousands of dollars because they've made money in like other businesses and they're trying to get in the crypto space and they have some FOMO and they're just trying to grab on to what they're hearing talked about. And I think because of the huge, I guess, IP that Vivi has, at some point, like OMI really catches on again and goes crazy. It just went too high last bull run, which the pendulum swung too far to the upside. It swung way too far to the downside, and it's been too long in the downside. At some point, that corrects like a rubber band pulling a brick. Now, is that now? Well, let's at least take a look at the charts and see. Here's what we're looking at.
Speaking of the charts, we're back at 00053. Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
Right back at those highs. Oh my gosh. So my chart isn't showing that, but it's right back to the highs this chart shows that before. And now in context, right? So it has a long ways to go. It's just right here. But that trajectory, and this chart only goes back to when OMI went on ETH, right? So April 2024. But we have a huge swing to the bottom. But look at this. Now, keep in mind, big pump here didn't mean it was over. But do look at this nice flat bottom here. That tells you that that's what a floor generally looks like. So I think the floor is in. I think the bottom was in. That doesn't mean it doesn't correct down, but I think the low for the whole bear market is in. That's my prediction, that it's not ever going to go down to this low that it was just recently at. Last week when we were talking about it, it's like OMI is not going to stay at these prices forever, and people are going to pass up this price, and they're going to regret it. We just said that a week ago.
You got this question, Rain. Do you have TradingView? Justin was wondering if you could show the OMI Tether volume on TradingView.
So
I agree.
How do I pull up the I forget
the volume?
how to bring in the volume tab. So he might know. I haven't used the volume tab in so long. I don't remember.
Yeah, Justin, let us know where the volume tab is. Let's see. But I agree with you, Rain. I do think that the bottom is in at that 000 like 18, like around there, 1718. I don't think that we're getting lower than that anymore. I think that the bottom is in. Because it's like there's a lot of stuff coming the rest of this year. I mean, even from like the regulatory side, we've got the Clarity Act that's going to get passed in some way, shape, or form. We're going to know a lot more about what you can and can't do, what certain tokens can do and projects can do. That's where I've talked about airdrops and stuff. I think that BV should, and their big IP should start doing those random airdrops. I think that would really excite the market. That would bring a lot of people back in. They've got, there's this major announcement that they was supposed to be in June. That they could be dropping at any point in time. What else is out there? I mean, you just have ETH, these ETH treasury companies that are going to be buying up ETH. So, man, I just think the rest of this year is going to go big. And then, like I said, you have all of these other companies and countries that have stated that they're in their budget for next year. They're going to be having a Bitcoin reserve. So, man, there's a lot. There's going to be a lot of money coming into this space. Plus, interest rates are coming down. That's going to put more liquidity into the markets. And then also, if the Fed drops interest rates, or sorry, they do quantitative easing as well with that. Man, it could just be all of these different catalysts combining for this perfect storm. It could be crazy.
Yeah, look at the volume. For those of you who see it, this is going to be really small on your screen, so it might be hard to see, but this volume spike is bigger than any of these volume spikes in history, right? So as we go back, there was a decent volume spike here. This one far, far, far exceeds that volume spike by a long ways. So we had a little bit of volume spike, and it jumped price considerably. This spike, these spikes are massive compared to the previous ones. Massive.
Yeah, and there's this guy that I was interacting with on Twitter that he showed this chart, and he's just like, it's just the same pump and dump. You guys are sheep and clowns and like, all, just calling us all these names, and VV Viral and I were just like, you're no hero, bro. You're not saving anyone. Just like, and then he's like, oh, like I made all the, I sold all my OMI in 21 or something. It's like, good for you, I doubt you're a millionaire though, because you're still here. You like I don't know. I just think these people. I guess I prescribe to your idea, right? Like, or subscribe to your idea, Rain, of just like buying and dollar cost averaging in these projects during the bear market, where the charts just look dead, and that's the crap that I gave O'Malley, right? O'Malley was just because we're the only OMI show out there. There's no other channel that's dedicated or that has a weekly show talking about OMI. We're the only one, and what we've been saying for 2 to 3 years as the price continued to go down is. We're dollar cost averaging. We're dollar cost averaging in, and this is why we believe this, right? And now as we're starting to see these things, and we've even said so many times that like sentiment can change on it like a dime, man. Like all of a sudden it's just like, boop, and there's this about face, and then all of a sudden everyone's all bullish. You know what I mean? And people are just like, we're seeing people in the comments already, and they're like, is it too late for me to buy in? I've missed the bottom and stuff, and it's just like for me personally. I think OMI has a long ways to go over the next 6 to 10 months. So I will still continue to be buying OMI at these prices at 0.005. If there's another dip, that's when I would look at getting in again. I'm not going to jump into this pump right now. Because when you have these massive spikes like that, there's always a retracement. That just green candle like that, there's always a retracement. Now, what we hope, though, is that now so
here we go. There's always a retracement, but that retracement may have been had already. So 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So if this continues above this, then it's going to go up further. We'll see what it does. But I think this back here, these were the lows. Where 0.00017 was the lows. I think from here, it's just, I think the trend's reversed. So will it go crazy right away? Not usually, but I think the lows are in. Remember, Ripple stayed around between 35 cents to 67 cents for forever. And then suddenly it went to like almost $4. And then it's been bouncing around between 270 to 350 for a long time. Those days of 35 cent or 40 cent Ripple, they're gone. And at some point, the days of OMI at 0.02 cents, it's just gone forever. And that we may have passed that, right? So when we were talking about when it went back down to these lows just a week ago, and I was like, you think that these low prices are going to last for forever, and it's slowly and then suddenly never there again. Kind of like when I was saying Devi went all the way down to 14 cents, and I was like, oh, people are like, oh my gosh, look at that downtrend. I was like, you're right, it could go cheaper than here. 14 cents is the steal of a deal. People that pass this up are going to regret it. And then it went from there to $1.70. It's like, yeah, it's come back down to like 33 cents. I think is the lowest. A 14 cent Devi days are gone for forever, probably. And we're heading into the altcoin market in probably the coming 3 months. So you've probably seen the lows that these last chances to stock up have probably been missed. And I remember, like, I love it when people are like, oh, you guys are just moon boys. I remember when I was just barely starting my YouTube channel, and I was just digesting so much information. And we were in this stage of the early bull market where it hadn't flipped into altcoins yet. And these two people that I watched that would do a show like this, they were called moon boys all the time. You know what they're called now? Well, one of them's a billionaire. Where are all those haters? They're like, you guys are moon boys, blah, blah, blah. Nowhere. They're probably not even in the crypto space, because they were the ones actually making plays. They were the ones reading which direction was going and putting things on the line and taking the risk. And then when it went crazy, just like they said it would, they're the ones that got the rewards. And all the haters, those haters didn't change their lives, their finances. You know, they're like, for forever, it seemed like they were right. And they were able to get that little dopamine hit of, yes, I called them a name, stupid moon boys. And they're nowhere. And you know what's funny, Doc, is millionaires don't have time to hate on people's channels. So all these people coming in that just like say stupid things, it's like, cool. Why are you here? Go do something. Go do something productive in your life. You're in the wrong frame of mind. Like, we already know you're not successful, because if you were successful, you wouldn't have time to come on and be like, oh, he's going nowhere. You know, focus first on being able to move out of your mom's basement and being able to keep a job and being able to afford your own apartment and setting some money aside so you can make serious investments other than $40 here and $40 there. But you got to start somewhere. And you might be fairly young. You know, those people that are like that, maybe they're 17. We don't even know. There's not an age limit. It could be 14 for all we know. It's like, cool. You got a lot of life ahead of you. Hopefully you learn some good lessons that you're not ready to benefit from yet. And that's okay. You're going to watch that some people that are doing the right things are going to make incredible money. And you're just not ready to understand that to be able to participate in it. And that's fine.
Yeah, man. No, I agree. Like, I mean, again, like that interaction that VV Viral and I had with this guy on Twitter, where he's just like, look at this. It's just this pump and dump. It's the same people doing this thing. And I'm like, to me, honestly, I think that some of that, actually, those other previous pump and dumps were facilitated by Ben Gadenzi. I could be wrong, but I do think that, like, he had a lot of tokens and he was doing a lot of that and slowly trying to take down the project. That's just my opinion. But I think he's out. I think he's out of the game, man. I think he's out of that. So I do think that it's different. I think that there's a lot of factors now that are coming into play that just haven't been here previously, right? Like, and because like OMI would pump on some of these other announcements, you know, like I'm trying to remember what announcement they made, and then OMI price shot up because of that announcement. We're not seeing that anymore, right? We're not seeing when Vivi does a drop that OMI price shoots up like that, right? So this is where I think that this is a lot more fundamental. People are looking at this and saying, I'm going to be buying some bags of this, and there's a reason for it. So, well, yeah, we'll see. I think that there's definitely, I believe there will be another retracement, but I don't think it's getting back down to that 00019 or 00018. I think that is done, like you said. And you're right, man. Like, all these people that are out there and tweeting about this and like the amount of time. Like, listen, it's impressive. It's impressive. I will give the Fudders that. The amount of dedication that these guys have is truly admirable. It's a shame that the dedication is to FUD, because so much energy is wasted on emotional hate. You know what I mean? Like, they're just so mad, you know, that they can't get over it. And like, I mean, it's just that ex-girlfriend, right? That like whatever that just keeps coming back, man. And it's just sad. It's just like move on with your life and find something that you do enjoy. Find this other project. Listen, and there are people who are like, hey, I sold out of OMI, like, you know, in 2022, and I bought XRP and I made a ton of money. That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, like, there's different ways to make money. And for me, dollar cost averaging, like I think in OMI, which again I think is a solid fundamental project, I think I'm going to do very, very well myself.
Yeah.
And like I didn't have to worry or take the risk of doing these other things. Again, I studied several companies that I feel very strongly about, like that the fundamentals are there, and I buy their token, and we're going to see how it plays out.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff hasn't hit yet. And OMI, like, this isn't even really a significant move, other than it may be signaling that the bottom is in and the uptrend has started. And that may be what it's signaling now. And we'll find out. It depends on what it does over the coming month. Like, maybe it's going to run away. It's probably not ready to run away. Look how sharp that increase is compared to where it was. It'll probably settle down. But I do think the bottom is in. I think it's flipped around and that the trend will be up now, which will get exciting. And at some point, the momentum and steam of this really, really comes. The cool thing about the crypto space is there's tons of ways to make money. So the people that sold out of OMI a while ago and they rolled that into something that was cheap, and then what's cheap has gotten expensive and they've done well in that, great. A lot of the crypto that's going to run hasn't run yet. So we've seen, I know a lot of my community is in XRP, though I don't openly discuss XRP all that much on YouTube because it's a high market cap coin. In our Discord, we've discussed it a whole bunch. And one of my community members has stayed up to date. And I know you've talked to him, Doc. He is extremely aware, and he had a 30-year career in payment systems. So he knows XRP like most people can't even understand, and has fully informed our Discord community. I know a lot of my private community has a ton of XRP. Now, XRP's experienced some of its gains. I think there's a lot more to come. OMI may have just experienced a tiny fraction of its gains. It falls in the risky altcoin space where that tends to run later on in the market. So what the cascade that usually happens is Bitcoin catches a lot of the momentum. Then it rolls into other things like, hold on, let me just change it. Rolls into other things like XRP and other things. We've seen them have a little bit of momentum. I think there's more to come. So ETH, XRP, some of the other ISO coins, Cardano, maybe even Solana reversing and catching some of that traction. And then it usually goes into the riskier altcoins as the money cascades. Maybe it'll play out different this time. I think it's like a 90% chance it plays out in that order, with a few of the risky altcoins running early. That's exactly what happened in 2021. Which altcoins run early, I have no idea. In 2021, I couldn't predict it either, and it didn't matter. I took bets on ones that I thought had a good chance to do well, and I just waited till it played out, taking the same strategy this time. Take my bets, wait till it plays out. It's still early. It's not take profit sign for me on OMI. Dang, it's not near as cheap as it was. I don't know what it's going to do from here. I mean, the price action, I'm surprised on the show, right? It's broken back up to the highs that it hit just the other day. And it's like, wow, maybe it does want to run. That volume, those volume numbers are crazy compared to what OMI's done volume-wise in the past.
Yeah,
and fundamentally, the VV community is going to hold way more OMI than they used to, because now they're going to be transacting in it. And so that big shift that they announced, 10 days ago or something, that was an earthquake of a shift, giving OMI more utility than I even realized they would have. That was a big deal. And I'm surprised OMI didn't move more right away, but it's like, okay, I think it's a big deal. Now we're starting to see it move and some volume behind it. We'll see what continues from this. Whether it runs away right now or it runs away in like 3 or 4 months, I'm just going to wait and see how it plays out. I took long-term positions over the past 3 years, and I'm just waiting to see which ones run first. And then if it's OMI, cool. If OMI goes up 50x from here, 100x from here, cool. I'll be selling some of my OMI to roll into some of the other things I like. If OMI comes back down and something else I have really runs crazy, cool. I'm going to roll more into OMI.
There's when Doc was talking about the haters and the dedication, it reminds me of a quote from Mars Attacks, where you have Jack Nicholson that's talking to the head alien from Mars Attacks, and he says, "Why destroy when you can create?" So I really have no sympathy or respect for those futters that respect and sympathies I have is for the people that were watching last night. So typically I go live at 8 every day, and there's usually a couple hundred people there. Sometimes on a random, like once in a blue moon, we'll get like 600,000 people there. But that's when I'm talking about Debbie, Definity, Decat, Shiro. I'm talking about all of these other companies in conjunction with Vivi and OMI. But yesterday at 12:30 in the morning, midnight 30, 1 a.m., there was 600 something people there yesterday, and it was just titled Vivi and OMI. There was nobody there from any of the other tokens that I talk about or other projects. It was just that, and again, it wasn't prime time. Like a lot of people were sleeping. Most people were probably sleeping. I don't think midnight 30 is a really good time to stream, but that's the people that couldn't sleep, that are obsessed with this. And out of those people, I'm very curious into how many people, like they maybe didn't lose love for OMI, but they're like, hey, I can't make any money in this right now because they're swing traders. And now that you have this volume, and I know that people say like pump and dump, I understand that can happen with $1 or $2 million. I understand that can happen with a couple million, and you can have that with one person. But $56 million in trading volume, or like that is not one person. I'm sure it could be. I don't think it is. I think that's more likely hundreds, if not thousands of people doing their stuff. And I think this is what's going to get these swing traders back. When you have this volume, even if it's not like for this amount of volume, I actually expected a bit higher. But I think if they're swing traders, like the volume is what you need in order to get on some of these big exchanges. Because the big exchanges look at OKX, like, okay, you're making a ton of volume. They're looking at DeepCoin, they're looking at MEXC, and like, okay, we want some of these fees. They're looking at Gate.io. And I think that's what we never went on DeepCoin. We never paid for a DeepCoin listing, but DeepCoin's like, nah, we're gonna renegade list. And they did a few months back. So I think more of that's going to happen. And obviously in conjunction with the, hey, let's do X, Y, and Z. There was a rumor somebody posted. I don't think it was anyone with any meaningful account. A guy named Crypto Whale or NZC6T, whatever, saying OMI is rumored to be listed 28 August on Binance. If this news is true, Solana chain will go to the moon. And it's like, well, that doesn't make sense at all because OMI's not on Solana. Like you have the people that'll engagement farm, and they're not going to engagement farm on people that are on projects that are dead. But I think that goes to show that, people just see the volume of what OMI is doing. It goes from like number 600 to number 300 on the CoinMarketCap's top 1,000 list. And I think just the more volume it gets, the more eyes on it gets, and that's just a snowball. So I'm very, very excited about it.
What I love about OMI is it's fundamentally very strong. Their app associated with it, Vivi, has some of the major brands worldwide known, like some of the best IP in the world. And it's just most people aren't paying attention to it. And that's the funny thing in the bear market is like there were some real solid projects in the bear market that nobody was paying attention to. And people would kind of poo-poo it. Well, people would hugely poo-poo it when you would talk about them because the price action was down and had been down for so long. And they're like, nothing's going to happen there. It's a dead project. It's like, what do you mean they're dead? They're well-funded. They have all this stuff going on. How do you not see this? Oh, you're crazy, blah, blah, blah. And they talk about something where the price had been moving over the past month. Yeah, this is where all the money is. And it's like, okay, this person doesn't get it, right? They have no ability to see gems before they pump. And I realized a lot of people just don't have the golden vision. They can't see trends before they happen. And that's all right. Investing probably isn't the right place for them. There are plenty of things that they can do with skills that they probably have. But in crypto, in any type of investment, you have to have some golden vision of being able to see the right components and realize what those components are going to do. And I mean, it's so apparent to me. Okay, Vivi's got a token associated with it, OMI. Vivi has some of the top licenses in the world. Yeah, nobody is thinking about digital collectibles right now. Not tons of new users really coming in. But when there's this huge digital focus that happens every 4 years, and every 4 years you get broader exposure in the world each cycle, then of course they're going to look at digital collectibles. They're going to be thinking about Web3. They're going to be thinking digital. of course, Vivi is going to get traction in that type of market. And then the token associated with it, it's going to go crazy. And the people that don't see this, like, how are you missing something so obvious as this? I don't know, but investing is not your thing, or maybe you're just new. And new is an okay answer. When you're new, you're just bad because you're new, not because anything's wrong with you. You're just new. And you're always bad at something that you're new at before you're good at it. But there's two types of people who watch and learn, and people who watch and don't learn. So will those people watch and learn? Some of them. And others will like watch and then hate and be mad and, oh, I missed this opportunity and blah, blah, blah. It's like, not only did you miss this opportunity, but you probably talked to 100 people out of the opportunity. So good job to you, bro. Oh, well.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, and I don't think we need to dwell on the FUDers anymore, right? But I hope that they learn from this and just understand that it's just not worth the energy, to sit there and just trash on a project so much, because it's gonna keep going on, and at some point, they'll probably just go away because, listen, I'm just going to say this. I cannot wait for next week's episode, which is episode 69, by the way, Randy. So hashtag nice. For Randy. There we go. But I have a fun little surprise. I cannot wait. I was hoping I'd have it for this episode, but next episode it'll be here. I'm excited for it. But yeah, I hope that they learn, Rain, that it's just man, number one, they funded this project and then it did super, super well, and then they feel like idiots. So they probably won't show their face again. Or Randy said, maybe they're privately buying. And I do know some FUDers that are doing that. They like to FUD it and they like that they like the attention that the FUDing gets, but they still actually are buying OMI. And I'm just that is such a weird dichotomy within your brain to do that. But okay. But yeah, I hope they learn from it, man. And that, hopefully a next cycle, because I think there may be one more cycle before crypto becomes too mainstream and there's too many integrations into traditional finance. And then we're just not going to get the volatility like we have these other cycles of just crazy, crazy price swings with these, 50Xs and 100Xs. Triple backflip. Troy says, I hope the surprise is a triple backflip. I'll tell you what, man. Tonight, I am going to be working on a round of double backflip. So I'm going to see if I can start working on that and getting that down. Triple backflip would be freaking insane, but that's an insane height, and I am not getting that. I'm too old. My body's too old for to try to attempt something like that, man. But a double backflip, that's in the cards for sure.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have a fun ride, and at some point, OMI is gonna go crazy, and maybe that point has happened. I'm just gonna patiently wait to see how it plays out. I'm curious about the trend that's happened while we've been on this, breaking the previous highs that it went. Maybe it's signaling that it continues to want to run. I am curious about how much volume has come in. That's really interesting too. That maybe it's going to run for a bit. And what's funny is people chase green candles. So if it continues to run, you will have new people coming into OMI that have never paid attention to OMI before. And so that would be fun to have that coming in. At some point too, Vivi is making some good moves with the chasers. And I think those kind of moves are going to bring in more speculators that want to speculate on buying the things from the drops. And it's going to bring more money into Vivi and more attention into Vivi collectibles. And at some point that runs away too and goes crazy. Many of you were able to experience that in December of 2021 and January 2022. You remember that kind of craziness. That's going to happen this cycle too.
Yeah, I do think that there's going to be some collectibles that just go bananas. If the OMI token goes up, some of these collectibles are going to go up too because people are selling them for OMI. And kind of like what I said before, comics and crypto, but some ETH whales, they bought their ETH at like $20, you know, and so then they're just looking at something that's like 50 ETH, and they're just like, well, that only cost me $1,000. This is only really $1,000 for me, even though ETH is like $4,500. You know, like in their mind, how they look at that is they're like, you know, I've got, you know, 700 ETH or something like that. And like, this just didn't cost me as much. It's going to be the same with OMI. People are like, I bought it 0019 and now it's at 007, you know? And so, and someone's listening and it's like, yeah, I freaking want that. OG Harley Quinn, you know, the black, white, and red, or the black and white, what's that? Yeah. Black, white, and red, like Harley Quinn with like the bat. So freaking dope. Or maybe they want the Rizzo or something like, and they're just like, I have all of this on me, and I can afford this now, you know. And so some of these collectibles really are going to go high, and that's where, like, listen, the things that I'm stacking, like I tried to play the MCP points game. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to make the first 100 people to hit level 100. I'm close. I think I'm like at level 92. Let me see, but now what I'm doing, like, is I'm just stacking things that I feel like when new people come in, they are going to want. And don't forget, guys, like I think that, like, I think that there are other collectibles that or comics or something like that we're going to be able to burn. Like, I think that they're also going to look at reducing some of the supply of some of this stuff, right, that's out there with the 60,000, and they're like, maybe we don't want 60,000 MC1s or Fantastic Four number ones or like another collectible, right? When like the OG days when things were just, they kept minting it and it was selling out at 60,000. So I'm stacking the things that I think are going to be important down the road that people are going to look back on and say, these are very, very important collectibles. And that's what I'm stacking now, hoping that all of this kind of comes to pass, that OMI rises. And then as some of these collectibles rise, I think that the important ones, like I look at Boba Fett. Boba Fett is such an important Star Wars character. And I was going to look at like what he is in the market right now. Let's see.
And tell us which rarity for Boba Fett as well, because there's a couple of those, right? Yeah.
Well, I'm going to cheat and bring it right in.
The ultra rare, right? I have you in my sights. That's the lowest. Oh my gosh, that's the highest rarity, the ultra rare. They're going for $20. $20 is. I'm going to buy one right now. Like,
How much OMI are they going for?
let me see.
Because there's like, I feel like now, or really probably yesterday, you could have got it where maybe people didn't recognize how much OMI they would spend, and I'd be like, oh, hey, 15 million OMI for gold logo. They'd be like, oh, that's a steal. Where, you know, because as of a few days ago, that was like $3,000, and now it's like $7,000, and it's like, oh, all right, maybe maybe you can get someone to buy your stuff for a lot of money.
So Boba Fett, the ultra rare right now is they're $20. And you see Bill, he said he originally paid $400 for Boba Fett, you know. And why did he do that? Because Boba Fett's an important character. And the marketplace was a different spot. And I think it's going to get there again. I don't know if it'll go to $400. I don't know. But I definitely think that we're going to see, as OMI rises, the NFT prices will rise as well. These digital collectible prices will as well. And the great thing about the stacker integration, right? We will have actual floors. Now, one of the things that we caught that was interesting when I was on the stream with Comics and Crypto, and shout out to them, is when we go on to Stacker, the actual price of OMI right now is what it's showing the dollar sold for. Does that make sense? So, like, because we looked at some VV Gold and Silver logos, and I was like, wait, one sold for $7,500? I was like, there's no way. But it was because of what the price had done. So then we tracked like the day of the sale, right? And then we're like, oh, OMI was actually this. Now on Etherscan, it's kind of the same thing. It'll show you like what the like price is, but if you hover over it, it'll show you what the price of Ether was the day that it sold. And that gives you a better idea of that floor value. That's going to be so important for the market going forward, is to see, because like I see some people posting, they're like, oh, look at this floor, it's at $3,000, and it's like, yeah, okay, but what was the last actual sale? And maybe it was like $300, you know, and it's like, okay, that realistically then the floor is not 3,000, it's 300. That's the last, you know, so we know that there's a buyer at 300. But we'll be able to start seeing that. And man, with all the integrations that I'm hoping we talked about with on Comics and Crypto, offers, like that's so important. There's a few mint numbers. I'm looking for mint numbers of certain collectibles of the year, like birth years of my kids, right? And also for me, like those are, but like it's a freaking nightmare to find those things. It's like, and even if I do, right, like now I can actually message them, which is a step in the right direction. And that was fun. I was trying to prank Randy. Like I reached out to Randy on Vivi's app, right? And I DM'd him and was like, "You complete me," right? And I was thinking he didn't know who I was, or that he had forgotten what my name is on Vivi and stuff. And then because he didn't respond to that, right? And can you just imagine getting some random thing? Someone's like, "You complete me." It's like, well, and then I was like, hey, can we hang out at Vegas in DCon? And he's like, yeah, sure, fam. And I was like, oh, he's just trying to be nice. And then I can't even remember the day. Oh, I was like, you have no idea who this is. I was like, ha, ha, ha. And then he screenshotted it and actually texted me on my phone. He's like, I know who this is. Dang it. But like, I mean, just this interaction, being able to interact with people more on the app and make these offers is going to create a lot more churn, like on the marketplace, which then generates more revenue for the IP and for VB. I casually slid into Randy's DMs. I'm like, how you doing?
I like Sanjay with the plug there. Sanjay, you're a freaking legend for really taking the ideas, going to David Yu with your ideas of what to do for the logo holders and adding so much value. You are a legend for making what you did with that gold and silver logo. And David is like, yeah, I like the ideas. Amazing. That gold and silver logo. Like, he's right. Boy, if you don't have one and you're serious about VV and the VV community, it'll be helpful to get one, because like it's got utility that'll be crazy. The challenge is like, just know it's not necessarily it's a lifestyle investment more than investment, because can you really ever part with it? That's going to be hard, right? Like,
that's why you buy three.
That's
why you get three.
But yeah, unless you get three. Yeah.
Well, I think he has like 6 of them, 5 of them, which is insane.
Yeah, he's got a bunch.
Yeah.
Like Sanjay, I'm still trying to figure out a way to get to New York, man. We'll see if that happens. I really, really want to go.
There's when you have multiple, it gives you think about missing a dinner with A-level Hollywood celebrities.
A-level Hollywood celebrities. Who are we talking about here? A-level celebrities. Listen, I'll tell you what. If you get Sydney Sweeney to come to that party, the golden logo is, what's that?
I was just saying, I'm in if we get Sydney Sweeney.
Well, I'm just saying the logo is going to go to $40,000.
Easily, yeah.
Doctor of stuff all of a sudden purchases like 8 of them. It's like, I want 8. I want to be there with her 8 times.
Or they're like, no, I want to buy freaking 50 of them so that there's less people that are there to interact with her, so I get more time with her, you know.
Sydney Sweeney would be so lucky, Doc.
So Sanjay is insinuating here that maybe Johnny Depp is coming to this party. Unless it's Johnny Storm.
I'm going to put that as a big if, because Johnny Depp really doesn't, like, ever since that trial with Amber Heard, he really doesn't make a lot of public appearances. If he could get him there, that would be the most legendary thing ever. But I mean, even if he doesn't, like, the beauty of having multiple is if, you know, when this goes to like 20K, you could sell one and it's not that big of a deal. You know, if you sell one at 20 and then it goes to 50, it's like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should have waited. But I was talking to Tammy about that last night. She was on stream drinking a bunch of White Claws, and she's like, yeah, you know, for the right price, I'll sell. And fair point. I mean, 50K can go a long way, especially if you save that for another bear market or you put that in something that hasn't run yet. Be good times.
Yeah. Mine
Oh,
will
man.
only transfer after my death. I'm going to keep
Comments
that
and
one
cryptos
forever.
comment. When Sydney's bathwater blue.
I
Listen, let's get that on
love you
BB
guys.
as a digital collectible, and it will sell out instantly, my friend.
We're just going to get our profile so big that Sydney is excited to come on OMI is my homie.
Oh, I'm in, man. That's so
That'd
funny.
be cool.
No, I still, my Hollywood crush is still J Law, dude. Jennifer Lawrence,
I love her.
Hollywood crush for sure.
There's a
Yeah.
buddy of mine that got to, I don't want to say babysit. It was his job to get her from place A to place B. And he said that she's exactly like she is on like interviews. She always has to have a bag of like jerky. And she got like, she was too embarrassed to tell him that she gets like seasick until they got on the boat. She's like, I get seasick. It's like, what? Why didn't you tell me? I could have got you some like Dramamine or something. She's like, I didn't want. I was too embarrassed. And then she wound up getting seasick on the boat. And I was like, that is such a. I believe that happened. Like I 100% believe that.
So I feel like J Law is like a female version of like Randy, right? Like just so like she just comes across as so down to earth, not arrogant whatsoever, right? Like doesn't let the fame get to her head, and she's just she's funny like that. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's why I like her so much, man. I'm just like one of these like real people in such a fake world out there, you know. I love that. And Keanu Reeves is another favorite of mine. I don't think he's the best actor. He's done great with John Wick. I'll tell you that much. Love that. But like, you know, he was in some Shakespeare movie, and I was like, who cast that, bro? But I think they even just love him in Hollywood. Like he's just such a genuine individual, and man, like those people, they're unique like that, and I want to give them all the love and try to say like, hey, offer my support to those type of people, and so maybe more Hollywood actors will trend that way.
I do think more Hollywood actors are going to start paying attention to VV collectibles as they go crazy. A lot of them grew up with this kind of stuff. I mean, part of what makes Deadpool so funny is Ryan Reynolds is a total nerd that understands like our generation so good. So his inside jokes are hilarious. And Henry Cavill is a huge nerd, right? Like I guess the reason he was leaving The Witcher, he's like, oh, you're going too off the storyline. And like I'm a purist, and it's like, wait, you're leaving it because they're going too off the original storyline? Like crap, you know, how do they really replace you in that role? But like big nerds, and so a lot of celebrities like the same stuff we do. Why? Because it is cool. I mean, we have Marvel comics and Star Wars and Deadpool comics. What do you think celebrities are going to gravitate towards when everything goes digital? This.
I can imagine a day, right? Like when, because for those of you who remember, like I remember Paris Hilton was on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and they were talking about Bored Apes. It's one of the reasons that Bored Apes just really took off, right? Like at one point, Paris had a Bored Ape, Neymar had a Bored Ape, right? Like it was all this hype and stuff like that. How much more easily are we going to be able to sell these celebrities on some of these big IP things, the Wolverines, the Deadpools, you know what I mean? Especially if they're animated, they just freaking look amazing. Spider-Man 2099 looks so amazing. I don't know, man. Like, I just think that I do truly, fully believe that digital collectibles will be mainstream at one point. And if VB can survive up until then, they are going to be the freaking, like, 1,000-pound gorilla in the room, you know what I mean? Because they have all of the FAs of all of these characters, man. So many of them. It's going to be insane. And so, yeah, like I could picture like David Hughes sitting down with Jimmy Fallon talking about telling a story. You know, like that's in the realm of possibilities for me. And why, like, I'm still here. Why we talk about OMI is my homie. We talk about VB and just collecting all this stuff. On top of the community is amazing. Like, I mean, again, Sanjay, and shout out to Sanjay, but like all the work that he does for these freaking parties, they're so amazing. And Sanjay is such a good person, man. He's just so fun. I love, like, there's like people who, when you hang out with them, like you leave having more energy than you came with. And like Sanjay is one of those people, man. Like I just am like, I love hanging out with that guy. He's freaking awesome. And there's so many of the I mean, look, Crypto Cosmo is another one of those. He just shouted. And I'm going to shout out Crypto Cosmo. Him and VV Viral and Randy, right? They were the ones who were like, hey, we're going to pay VV Viral to start just freaking tweeting out like crazy, being like a reply guy with OMI, paid him in some OMI. And I like this started this kind of like upward trajectory of momentum and excitement and stuff like that. So massive, massive shout out to you, Crypto Cosmo, and to VV Viral, and to you, Randy. But yeah, this community is just top notch. I'm in a lot of other communities. Another really good community is Cornucopias. That community is a lot of the Corn Fam is what they call themselves.
Yeah.
And what an awesome community that's and project. Truly, I'm so excited for that project. They continue to just build like crazy. But man, as Sanjay keeps talking about this stuff, I just freaking want to like figure out a way to get there. Got to figure out a way.
Same, fam. I don't know if you can hear me. They're doing fireworks. It's like Fallujah out here. Anyway, you mentioned Cosmo, you mentioned Viral. Something I want to talk about. An Asian Dan, like 2 days ago, brought up and I'm not being racist. That's his name on Twitter is Asian Dan. He put up a post like 2 days ago saying if OMI hits, 0003, I'll make a video again. And obviously it did it. It went up to like 0005. It went back down. And he's like, you know what? If it sustains the 3, I'll make another video. So I just commented on his status like, hey, it's at like 0005 now. Like chop, video boy. Like, let's go. So I think Dan represents so that's a ref. I don't know if Dan will get that. I'll apologize later. Is some people on TikTok, they'll post like video, like 10-minute clips of like shows or movies and part 1, part 2, whatever. And then the people in the comments be like, it's been 10 minutes, chop, movie boy. And it's fun. I don't know if I'll get that. Anyway, I feel like Dan represents a bunch of old school, I don't want to say old, like the golden age of VV YouTubers that will probably like come back because they can't resist. Like as much as people say like, yeah, I'm done with OMI. Yeah, that was a scam. Like I feel like they can't resist the views and they can't resist trying to be relevant. And I hope people like kind of wisen up. I mean, there's new people that will get in. And like, let's say if you have somebody that was a little undesirable last time throughout the bear market, whatever, and they're starting acting positive again, they're not going to know the vicissitudes of the last 24, 36 months. And the new people will be like, oh yeah, this guy's really talking positive about OMI. He's saying some really good things. And they won't know really the pain that a lot of people went through when OMI went down 90-something%. And you have people with this renewed sense of, not even renewed, a new sense of patience because they haven't had to weather the storm that was this god-awful bear market. So you have a lot of cross-trading that OMI has gone, I think, from the last 18 months into a lot of hands that are either not going to get tired and are not going to sell, or are only going to sell when it becomes financially viable for them, or that they might respect the chart, or they might be able to sell off 10, 100 grand at a time without it hurting. How many people do you guys think come in from the old days, and how many new people do you think come in that never touched it before, making videos and content?
Well, what's funny is everyone who's made a lot of money in crypto has a story about 1 or 2 cycles before where they kind of got in and got washed out. So the people that got washed out this time, are they serious about crypto yet? No, they kind of dabbled in it, probably got burned a little bit because they probably bought high and they sold low. They're probably going to miss this run. They'll probably come in late in the run. Maybe they'll be smart enough to sell some, but possibly they'll stick around in the bear market that follows and actually start doing the right things. But if you think about who's here now, well, almost everyone who's here now came in 2021. Well, why is it only in 2021? Like, crypto had cycles before this, 2017. Like, where were all of you then? Well, you might have experienced a little bit in 2017, but you weren't really ready for it. However, if you're here right now, you've probably gone pretty big during the bear market. I know some of you have. Now, some of you may have gone what's big for you. You're going to experience an upside that's going to be tremendous because a lot of the people realize that next bear market, a lot of the people talking are people that haven't even heard of Vivi yet. Some of the people that stick around during the whole bear market haven't even heard of Vivi yet. Just like many of the people that stuck around this time were not in crypto in 2019 and 2020 before. So there will be so many more new people. Like, you can't even fathom how much bigger Vivi is going to get. Like Cardano, right? I was one of the original supporters, not original, because I didn't come in until 2017. Cardano was founded before that. But 2018 is when I started buying Cardano. So many of the avid Cardano supporters during this last bear market weren't even around the previous bear market. And so it's like, there's going to be so many more people that come in this run compared to the number of people that have already heard of it. And there will even be a fraction of those that stick around in the coming bear market. And they're going to look at you guys and be like, oh my gosh, you heard of VV in 2021? That's so crazy.
Big A's comment. I love that. I don't know what all this money talk is about. I'm just here for the tech. I don't know. That's like a reference to like back in some of the old cycles, right? Where people are just like, oh, look, I'm just here for the tech, bro. I'm just here for the tech. Like the people who like didn't make the money. Oh, that's great. That's so funny. Hey, yeah, man. Smash the like button, fam, and subscribe to the channel. If you guys haven't done that, all three of our channels, we're out there streaming. But I love the support. I love this community, dude. They're so ardent. It's such an ardent fan base, and it's fun. It's just fun. So these are good days. But I do think it's important, right? Like we'll see. Like we said before, I think that the bottom is in for OMI, and so it's really exciting to see some of these jumps, and hopefully it sustains like at the 0003 mark, at least around there. And I'm actually looking forward to tomorrow, Rain, for your guys' technical analysis on OMI with Paul from Definity. That I think that's going to be a highly watched show. Make sure that you tweet that out there and tell people you guys are going to be covering OMI, because I'm sure you're going to get a lot of people watching it.
Yeah, Doc suggests that we cover OMI tomorrow. Do I have a second for that, or should we just ignore OMI for another week or two? I'm sure nobody here is like really curious to know what's going on with the price action, and to hear somebody with 30 years experience cover it.
Who's phenomenal, by the way. Man, Paul is so good. He's
so good. You guys have no idea. So I'm talking with him. He came on for a special behind the scenes with our gold members of the Discord, and he spent an hour with them, right? And he was super cool. And then he had to get off the phone because this billionaire was waiting to have 30 minutes of his time to ask him what the market was doing. So you guys having access to Paul is amazing. Do you realize, like, he literally, his job at Definity is take calls from these billionaires who have questions on what's going on with the price analysis?
Brian, tomorrow I will be in the middle of Epcots around the world, drinking at every place we go, and I will be tuning in to your show to hear what Paul says about OMI, because that TA is something that he specializes in. He's very good at, and I'm not gonna shut up to everyone around me. I will talk to anyone who will listen tomorrow. You know who I'm listening to, and maybe you get a couple new subscribers tomorrow.
Okay, maybe we will cover OMI tomorrow.
Yeah, I think you're right. You know, sometimes because something is free, people don't realize the value of what they're getting, and it is important to lay out there that like Paul hangs up with you know us, and then it's just like, okay, now I'm gonna go talk to these, just like the 1% of the 1% is who he's like interacting with, and like how freaking wild that is, you know.
Literally, there are people that he saved them or made them tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, just like he tells them, here's what I see the odds are and stuff, and like they just love him. And so the fact that my audience has been able to like listen to him for the last 4 years has been amazing.
The thing that I like about this too, though, Rain, because we've talked about this for a long time, it was like, it's really hard to do technical analysis when there's not a lot of volume behind something, right? Because then just small amounts of money can really spike the price. But now we have, you know, like, because OMI's daily trading volume kind of fluctuated between like 500,000 and 1 million. and now over the last 2 days, it's been at like 35 to 50 million, like within the last 48 hours. Like that's a massive amounts of money. And no, like it's not a single person doing any of this. Like the amount of structure that they would have to put in place to try to even make this possible, and the amount of bots and stuff would just be so stupid. It's not worth it, because they're buying and selling from each other, and they're paying all these fees, if it's bots and stuff like that. Like, not a single person. So, like, I just saw someone saying that, and it's just like, we're just going to shut that down right now.
The market makers for especially like OKX and stuff, they'll have some of that wash trading where it's not actually charging the fees. And some of that is happening. How that happens, I just know a lot of the exchanges do it. So is that the full volume? Well, what's interesting is they never just come in and pump something that's not already pumping. They move in where the action is already. So there's that. So the action was already happening. The bots didn't kick off the action. Something else did. Somebody else was coming in with a lot of money. That's what kicked off the action. Now, it was massively undervalued. Will it sustain this? That's what we're going to find out. I don't know, but I do think the bottom is in, and that in the coming 3 months, like even today's pricing will seem so dirt cheap. Yeah. It's all coming in so that Asian Dan does a video. Totally. I'm curious what God's entry guy has to say now.
No, he said it's a dead token. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing is.
So did Paul Barron.
He said that.
Yeah.
Paul Barron, all these people.
Paul Barron is really good at engagement farming, right? So he just created a second channel where he's covering XRP every day. And it's like, XRP is amazing. I mean, of the projects he could pick, great, but it's not at the 30 cents that it was. Why didn't he do it when it was at 30 cents? Well, because he's just engagement farming. Now that it's gone to $3 and it's past its lows and it's on the uptrend, he's got a media company, right? So a lot of people mistake, most YouTubers are just media companies, and they operate like media companies. Few of them are even good investors. Almost none of them had made very much money from investing. They're making it through media. Why? Like, even there was a major person who had a huge channel, and he was making $1 million a month from his sponsors. And he hasn't made very much investing except for the insider deals that he was able to get into. Why? Investing isn't his strength. Talking is, right? So he has a media company. People mistake that for, he probably knows what he's talking about in crypto. And he's like, he really doesn't, other than he knows kind of the tokens and some of the things going on with the tokens, but he doesn't buy low and sell high. He buys high and sometimes sells low because he's still learning how to be an investor.
Speaking of investors, everyone say your prayers for Dr. Prophet, who's been at Burning Man, which apparently has been a god-awful experience this last week. Tents be blowing away, people in traffic for like 15 hours. I just said stay safe at Burning Man. He says, oh, wow. Okay, I can't say. Oh, wow. What? Someone's going to be shot out of space? Okay, I don't know if I should say. Anyway, it is hot out here. The bugs are going. I do have to bounce. I'm about guys. I love you so much. I was originally not going to be here today, but I was like, with OMI doing what it's doing, how can I not be on the greatest show with two of my best friends, just going in and shooting the shiz about how OMI's pumping. Vacation or no vacation, charity or no charity, the show will always go on. I love you guys. I'll catch you all later. Bye, everybody.
Love you, Randy.
Love you too, Randy. You're the man, buddy.
Troy says, I want to thank the three of you for getting us through the bear market. A lot of the reason for this show is just an emotional roller coaster. And one of the things it takes for, like, not everyone that watches this show is here for the investment side. 100% of my direct audiences, they're here for the investment side of crypto. Like, when I saw what crypto was doing and how blockchain cryptographical encryption unlocks things that the internet couldn't do before, like verified digital collectibles by major brands, That's one of the things that was needed. Blockchain and cryptographical encryption was needed for, is to have truly verified digital collectibles like what Vivi's doing. I was like, wow, this is going to change everything. And it's still an early stage. This is something I can invest in if I learn to invest smartly, and it will change my finances for forever. So 2017, I invest 15,000, went to 170,000, went down to about 3,000. And I learned some very good lessons from it. The major lesson I learned about crypto is it's a cycle market. A cycle means every 4 years it goes crazy and then it pulls back massively. What I like about cycle markets is they're the very best to invest in. Prior to crypto, I've been investing for almost 20 years. And I was like, I get cycle markets. So I have a theory. I'm going to invest 2018, 2019, 2020. And my theory is in 2021, it goes crazy. Now, I was newer to crypto investing, and 65% of what I invested in went to zero because I was in a lot of risky projects and some meme coins because I didn't know that meme coins are a rather dumb risk. And I still made crazy gains, even though a third of my portfolio is the only part that survived. I made the kind of gains you can't make in anything else. And I was like, wow, if I'm just somewhat careful with my money, I never have to work again. That's crazy from one cycle that I was prepared for. Many of you have been preparing this whole bull market. This is going to be your first cycle that you're prepared for. I'm excited for you. This last cycle, this last bear market, I put all my chips back on the table. I'm like, well, we'll see if this pattern continues. I feel the odds are super high that it is going to continue and that we're heading towards this massive bull run that many people aren't seeing yet. We'll see how it plays out. I would give it 97% odds that this coming 8 months, we have massive candles across most of the crypto space. We'll see how it plays out. I think a lot of the action is going to happen in the coming 3 months.
I mean, I would not be sad. The only thing I'd be sad about is that I couldn't have packed my bags more this year. Just had some crazy unexpected expenses, and so I'm still able to stack some, you know what I mean? But yeah, like I've listen, I would love that. I would love 3 months from now. That'd be phenomenal. Because I still have some good, decently packed bags. Just want more. Mr. M's, what's that?
I said we always want more.
I know.
Back in 2020, I was like, oh, I just want so much more. It's so cheap.
Yeah. I gotta be happy with what I got because, like, listen, there's always gonna be people who have more than me, and there's gonna be people who have less than me. Just be happy. Someone said, and I love this quote: "Happiness equals what you have minus envy." And that was so powerful to me. You know what I mean? Like, when you sit there and you look at someone who's just like, oh, they have all this stuff, like you're then all of a sudden not happy. But if you just sat there and like didn't envy what other people had and just like were stoked with what you had, whatever that was, you'd be so much happier, you know? Like I love that. I love that quote, man. Sorry, I'm gonna like tangent here with Sanjay saying, I hope we get a Stacker logo collectible soon. Listen, if we get a Stacker logo, it's got to be like a rocket. It's got to be animated. It's got to be a rocket with the O symbol that launches and then lands or crashes into the Stacker logo or something like that. You know, we can't just have a logo. I'm logoed out, Sanjay. I'm logoed out, man. Need something more than just logo.
I love golf says, win glasses, doctor.
I don't have them. They're downstairs. I threw them on, Rain, when you had to leave early one time. Then I kept them on the rest of the time.
No way.
So that people can still feel like there's a part of Rain here in the chat.
I love it. Y'all see Immutable go full ZK roll up, everything going to be on blockchain. I haven't followed Immutable all that closely. They're a strong chain. Their just market cap is a lot higher than what's interesting to me, but I think they're going to do really well. A lot of blockchain games have built on them.
Yeah, like I saw someone comment, like they said, even the Fudders had to agree that like if they did the full ZK roll up, then these would be true NFTs. because in their opinion they're not yet, but they would be, or like. And I disagree with that sentiment that they're not true NFTs, because people. There's so many different definitions of what an NFT is, but I think it was Mark Wynn or maybe Viva Viral. Someone Mark, correct me if I was like if it was you for sure, but someone had basically asked all of the different AIs, Claude, Grok, Google's AI, right? Like all of them basically asked if VB NFTs were actual NFTs, and all of them said yes, all of them. You know what I mean? Like. It's just so stupid. Like they're like, well, it's not on like the layer one. It's like it could be, and the fact that it could be, like, that's enough. That's enough, right?
They're arguing about something that won't matter in the future at all.
Doesn't matter.
Like,
yes, Disney, what their first NFTs are, they're gonna freaking say the golden moments.
Yeah,
that's what matters. That's what matters.
Yeah.
Truly, is the IP is gonna come out and say that.
Yeah, CryptoPunks weren't like, it didn't operate with OpenSea, and they were their own thing for a long time. And yet it doesn't matter. It hasn't hurt their value, right?
Right.
So
yeah, you gotta like
they're arguing about something that won't matter in the future at all. Right now, it may matter. It's like a convincing argument that won't matter at all in the future.
100%.
Cool. Well, Doc, that's a lot of what I want to talk about. I'm excited. OMI getting some momentum. The volume is interesting. I really look forward to what Paul's going to talk about tomorrow when he sees it, because like he's really good at spotting trend turnarounds. And we'll see what he says. Is this a turnaround or not?
Yeah, man. Like I think I believe it is. I believe it is a trend turnaround. I'm excited about it. I just think that just crypto in general, there's still a lot of momentum to be had. And we're going to start seeing that, whether there's a dip in September, but like by November, I think things are going to be doing very, very well. I think that we're going to have a rate decrease by then, which will be big. I think there will be quantitative easing. So then we'll see crypto go up more. I think that some of this trade tariff stuff, a lot of that will be resolved, or mostly, and so the markets will kind of calm down. And man, like I'm really amped. I'm really amped, guys, for the remainder of this year. I think it's going to be big. I think VV's got some drops and some big announcements that they haven't made yet, and they've got a lot coming. So I think that they're going to continue to build on this momentum, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. I think celebrities are going to come in. I think they'll be excited. They'll be showing off their VV collectibles. I think OMI at some point goes absolutely crazy that many people, their first purchase in the crypto space will be the OMI token. I think by then it'll be on Coinbase. It'll be really easy. And they'll be like, oh my gosh, and FOMOing in to get directly on Coinbase. Cool, guys.
Yeah. Appreciate you, fam. We'll see you next week.